This is Mars Bargain Basement.
So there are a few reasons why you'll get the red blinking light. I have an NES behind me, and this one is doing the red blinking light. It sometimes shows up on the screen, sometimes it doesn't. It could be a couple of things that's causing it. It could be um, the cartridge is dirty. It could be damage to the cartridge. It could be damage to the pins, or it could be dirty pins inside the NES. So with this particular um, NES, I found that it works with some cartridges, but it doesn't work with others. So if I take this cartridge out, this is Roger Clemens Baseball, and I put Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers, it kind of works. It kind of doesn't. So let's go ahead and get into how to clean the cartridges and see if that does anything. In order to clean the cartridges, we're going to need a few things. First, we're going to need some isopropyl alcohol. And then we're going to need some cotton swabs. Generic cotton swabs will work. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. So to clean your cartridge, you can see there are little pins on the inside of this, copper colored. So all we do is we take our alcohol, try to dip it in here, get some alcohol on the cotton swab. So make sure it has liquid on it. Take your cartridge and rub it lightly against the copper pins. So you can see how dirty it looks. Also do it to the back side. So let's go ahead and switch our cotton swab over. Get it wet. Put it inside the cartridge. Rub it against the contacts. No, I call them pins, but they're actually contacts. And see if that gets some of the dirt off. See, that's also dirty. So let's go ahead and wait this around a little bit, dry it out, and let the alcohol evaporate. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's take the cartridge out. That somewhat works. Let's put this one in. And let's turn it on, see if it actually did the job. And voila, the issue has been resolved. The game is working without issue. So let's turn this off. Let's put Duck Hunt in and see if that fixes the problem with that as well. And that one seems to be working. I think some of the alcohol was still on the contacts and got on the pins. But with this particular NES, when I first got it, I noticed that there was something weird on the inside. It actually is making noise. It rattles, and that worries me because it should not rattle. And one of the things I like doing when I get an NES, and this makes it easier for the person who buys it as well, so they don't have issues with the pins. I like to replace the pins. So now that I've shown you how to clean a cartridge and get them clean for resale, and you also want to clean the outside as well, and clean up as best as you can, get as much dirt off of it as you can to make it presentable. But I like to replace the pins inside the NES. So let's go ahead and take it apart and replace the pins on the inside. It's not that hard. Um, if you know how to use a screwdriver, you can replace the 72 pins in Nintendo Entertainment System. What you're going to need for replacing the 72 pin set is a screwdriver. It needs to have a decent length to it. Also, we'll need a new 72 pin connector for the NES. You can get this from Amazon. I think they're about $7, $8. Not too expensive. So the first thing we're going to do is disconnect everything because we don't want to accidentally shock ourselves. There's not a lot of voltage going to it, but I still don't want to shock myself. All right. And I don't know if you can hear, there's some rattling inside, but we'll look at that in a moment. So let's go ahead and start taking out some screws. There are going to be 6 total. I don't think there's a screw in that one, so that tells me that this has been opened before. Oh, that kind of scares me. Because when electronics are opened by others, especially if they don't have an understanding of how it functions, it creates some problems. So when you turn it over after unscrewing everything, be very careful to make sure that your screws don't go all over the place. I have had that issue in the past where I turned something over and they went all over the floor. So this is what the case looks like. Go ahead and put that to the side. And this is the inside of a Nintendo Entertainment System. So the metal is a shield that should protect from interference getting electrical interference getting in and electrical interference coming out. So let's go ahead and take off the screws. So there's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's take those out. Once you have the screws out, the shielding should come up without issue. As I say that, can't get it off. There we go. And just put that to the side. So now we have our carriage, and this is our 72 pin. So what we're going to want to do is remove the cartridge carriage. I believe that's what it's called. Not really sure. There are a total of 6 screws. You may want to take a picture because the second screw from the top is different from the other screws. It is silver. I'm assuming it has a reason for being like that, so I don't question it. I just replace them the way I find them. Remove the carrier. This can be tricky sometimes. Just pull it out, set it aside. I'm not sure if you're noticing, but I do see a missing pin. And I know I heard rattling in there earlier. So I don't see anything, which is concerning. So let's just finish taking it apart. I normally take this part apart to make it easier to put the pins in. It's my personal preference just to take everything off the board. It also helps when you're cleaning as well. My magnetism on my screwdriver is not working any longer. I have to remagnetize it. All right, let's get that out of there. Ah, mysterious pin. So these don't normally break. So this is odd because this piece here, it has two prongs. The one that has two prongs, that goes inside the connector itself. So I'm not sure if someone came in here before. It looks like it's been snapped off. So I'm not sure if someone came in before and did that with one of the screws missing. I would probably think that's what happened. It might have been popped up. The person tried to fix it and they may have broke the connector. Anyway, so once you get to this point, the connector will come off. You have to just wiggle a little bit and it comes off in one piece. And yeah, as you can see, it has been snapped from that location. It's just very odd. And it's the middle pin as well. So that one doesn't get used much in the games. So I'm not sure why it would cause a lot of problems. So let's go ahead and take our new connector. This came in earlier today from Amazon. Nice and shiny. Everything looks really good. I have it upside down. But everything looks really good. No broken pins. Let's look at the old one compared to the new one. So yeah, you can see all the pins are present. It looks really nice. And let's go ahead and put it in. So with the new connectors, they are a little stiff. Not going to be easy to get on. And if you do this, here we go. Just be very, very careful. These are wires sticking up that have been soldered, and they are very sharp, and you can get cut very easily. I know from experience, I've been cut more times than I care to count on solder joints. So now with that in, we can go ahead and start assembling. So let's go ahead and put the screws back. Start with back here. See if I can't make this more difficult than it needs to be. You know, because, you know, what fun would it be if it's not difficult, right? So let's go ahead and screw that down. This is the fun one because I have huge fingers. Oh, that went pretty easy. All right. Put that in. So everything's going to fit a little snug. Since everything's new. I like to put the silver screws in first. Just personal preference. That helps center everything. And I don't screw things down right away. I put all the screws in. Start the back ones I don't put them in all the way. I just start them. And sometimes they want to go in, sometimes they don't. All right. The same with the front. Just get them started. This way you know everything's lined up correctly. And you don't have to take it out, start over again. Speaking from experience. All right, with the last screw in, you can start tightening things down. I like to do the corners first. Don't tighten them too tight. You don't want to strip the plastic, or just because that would cause issues. So just tighten them down, just enough to where things are going to stay. You don't want to strip them either. That's not good, in case this needs to be replaced again. All right, so now with that in place, before I put the other screws in, I like to do a quick test. So let's go ahead and put in our video. It works, you put it in correctly. And then, all right, power to the NES. Let's go ahead and put in a cartridge. Oh, that's a snug fit right there. Turn it on. And we have a working Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt. Let's take this out. First couple of times it's going to be really stiff. And we have a working Roger Clemens. All right, so let's go ahead and put everything back together. So let's start with the heat shield. Now, with this, there are little pins. So the heat shield needs to go on the pins before you start screwing things back in. Oh, take out the power. We don't need to short anything. Most important when you work electronics, always remove power before doing anything. All right. Let's go ahead and start screwing things back together. I do the front screws first, then I do the back, and then I do the sides. It doesn't have to be in any order. I just do that because it's personal preference. So it's just me. I'm different, but we all know that. Not easy to do when you're doing it behind the camera. All right. We have the last 2 screws. Actually, last 3. I said 2. Can't count. All right. Let's take this piece, this pin, make sure we put it to the side so it doesn't fall back into the Nintendo Entertainment System. Let's put the lid back on. Start with the center screw. And you can screw these in any way you'd like. It's totally up to you. It's your fix. You do it the way you want. And the last one. I'll need to find another screw for that back center before I sell this. The buyer will want to know where it's at if I don't. So, all right. So that's the system all back together again. We need to do one more test just to make sure I didn't muddle something up between the time it worked until the time I got everything screwed back together. And you might think, oh, how is that possible? Believe me, when it comes to me in electronics, it's possible. All right, let's try Roger Clemens. All right, so that's working. Great. Let's go ahead and notice game, no flashing red light. Fantastic. Now let's go ahead and take this out. And if I haven't mentioned this, the games are going to be tight in here for a while due to the new pins. And let's do Duck Hunt in Super Mario Brothers. And that works fantastic. So we have fixed the blinking red light on a Nintendo Entertainment System. I appreciate you watching. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, or if you want to see how reselling is done part-time, subscribe, like. I will try to put out as much content as I can based on the things that I like and hopefully the things that you like as well. I appreciate your time. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.